One fund, 3,700 companies. I've been using this as an engine of my retirement portfolio for years. But here's what most videos about this fund won't tell you. It might be completely wrong for you. Not because it's a bad fund, because of where you live and how you're taxed. Get that wrong and it doesn't matter how good that fund is. You're paying tax you didn't need to pay. So today, I'm going to tell you exactly which global fund is right for you in your situation. If you're American, Canadian, European, Middle Eastern, Asian, or even if you're investing somewhere else entirely. Because the answer is different for each of you. And I'm going to give you all the information, so stick with me here. Hi, I'm Neil Richard. I live and work outside of my home country. Here on The Long View, I discuss calm perspectives on long-term investing for global investors all over the world. Finding the right fund for my specific situation took me longer than it should have. This video is the one I wish existed when I started investing. Let's get into it. Over a 15-year period, approximately 92% of actively managed funds failed to beat their benchmark index. 92%. These are the fund managers, the analysts, the people with Bloomberg terminals and over 20 years of experience. They lose to a simple index fund almost every time. Now, think about what that means for the average individual investor picking stocks on their phone during lunch break like I used to do. You don't need to beat the market to retire well. You just need to capture the market's long-term return consistently over a long enough time. A global diversified equity index fund is the simplest way to do exactly that. So what is VWRA and why am I investing in it? VWRA stands for Vanguard FTSE All-World UCITS ETF, listed on the London Stock Exchange tracking the FTSE All-World Index, which means it holds over 3,700 companies across 47 countries. When you own VWRA, you own Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, also own companies in Japan, India, Brazil, Taiwan, all of it in one fund for an expense ratio of 0.22% per year. So that means $22 of every $10,000 invested. That's it. Now, here's why the global part matters. Over the last 30 years, the United States has dominated global equity returns. A lot of investors responded by holding mostly US stocks, which feels smart right now. But market dominance rotate. In the 1970s and 80s, Japan. In the 1990s, the US. In the 2000s, emerging markets dramatically outperformed. Nobody knows which region leads next. But a global fund owns all of them. No matter what happens, you're already in it. Now, here's the part that costs you the most money if you get it wrong. There are two types of ETFs, accumulating and distributing. Distribution ETF pays dividends directly to you as cash. You receive the payment, you pay tax on it immediately. An accumulating ETF automatically reinvests those dividends back into the fund. The dividends compound silently, without triggering a taxable event every single quarter. VWRA is an accumulation ETF. The A at the end stands for accumulating. For long-term investors still in the building phase, accumulation is almost always tax efficient because every dividend payout you manually reinvest creates a taxable event. Over 20 years, that difference is tens of thousands of dollars. Accumulation while you're building, distribution when you're retired and actually need the income. Simple. Now, this is the part I want you to actually pay attention to, because this is where most videos about global funds stop. They tell you to buy this fund, and then they leave you to figure out the tax implications on your own. I'm not going to do that. Let me break it down. Situation one, you live and work outside of your home country. VWRA is listed on the London Stock Exchange as UCITS fund. UCITS is a European regulatory framework available to investors in most countries outside of America. For people in Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, and the UAE, or even Europe, VWRA is accessible through interactive brokers. There are generally no withholding tax issues on accumulating funds, which makes it one of the cleanest options for international investors. That's my situation. That's why I use it. Situation number two, you are Canadian. Canadians have an excellent alternative called VEQT, Vanguard All Equity ETF Portfolio. VEQT inside a TSFA is one of the most tax-efficient retirement strategies available anywhere in the world. If you're Canadian, that's where to start before anything else. Situation number 3, you're American. Americans cannot hold UCITS funds like VWRA efficiently. The IRS treats them as PFIC, passive foreign investment companies, which triggers punishing tax treatment on gains and distributions. So VWRA is off the table. Americans have access to something equally powerful. It's called VT, Vanguard Total World Stock ETF, listed on the New York Stock Exchange, holds nearly 10,000 companies across the globe. For Americans, VT is the fundamental equivalent of VWRA. Here's the critical difference. VT, held inside a Roth IRA, grows completely tax-free forever. Not a withdrawal, not on dividends, not on capital gains, never. That's better than what I have. I'll say that plainly. If you're American and you're watching this, the Roth IRA is a gift. Use it, max it out, let it run. 3 reasons I chose VWRA for my situation. First, it's genuinely global. Some funds claim global but are 70% US stocks. VWRA holds the world in proportion to market value. Second, it's accumulating, not paying tax every quarter while I'm still building. It's a real compounding advantage. Third, the cost. 0.22%. Over 22 years, the difference between a 0.22% fund and 1% fund is tens of thousands of dollars. Low fees compound just like returns do. The right fund in the wrong account or the wrong country can cost you years of compounding you'll never get back. The right fund in the right structure for your situation compounds quietly for decades. VWRA is right for me. VT inside a Roth IRA is right for you if you're American. VEQT inside a TSFA is right for Canadians. Own the world, keep costs low, let it compound, don't interrupt it. That's the entire strategy, and it works not because it's complicated, but because it's simple enough to actually follow it for 20 years. In the next video, I'm going to talk about something most investors in their 40s and 50s never think about until it's too late. The difference between building a portfolio and actually living off one, because those are 2 completely different problems. And if you want to understand where you actually stand on retirement right now, I put together something called the Long View Retirement Checkup. 5 minutes, completely free. Link is in the description. That's the Long View. I'll see you next time.